Alright, we're just going to go through how to create the wheel. Alright, so there's a wheel here, so I'll just create another one for you. So make sure that you go into templates, Banksy Park. This is the one that we've made, make templates for you guys to make it easier for you guys to select. So there's only 3 parts, where if you go into other ones there's more. Just go into the Banksy Park one, standard. Alright, so standard part. So you're making a part, this is for assembly, this is for drawings, okay? So standard part. Alright, wait for that to load. Now, once that standard part's loaded, the first thing we're going to do is just make a 2D sketch. Now, you've got 3 different planes here that you can select. At this stage, it doesn't necessarily matter which one, but we're just going to do the, you have a look over here, you can see the front, right, and the top. So we'll just do the top plane. Right, so now we can see that it says top up here. Alright, now we're going to do the outside of the rim. Alright, and then we're going to do the axle in the middle first. So we're going to create 4 different circles. Alright, now there's a few ways you can do these. You can do 4 random circles and then you can give them dimensions afterwards, or you can basically click once, then type the dimension that you want. For the first one, 60 mil. So that's for the outside of the rim. Alright, I'm going to do my second one a random, and I'm going to do my 2 in the middle. So that one's at 5 mil. One's at 5, another one is at 8 mil. Okay, so you just basically type it in and just hit enter. Now, see how these 3 here are blue? That means they're constrained. They can't move at all. So if I just right click, push OK, this circle here can move. I can give that circle a dimension. I want to give that a dimension from the outside to the inside. So I can click here to here. Okay, and then I can give that a dimension. Now, from what I believe, it's 3 mil. I think it's 3, no, I think it's 4 actually. So just type in 4 mil there. Alright, so that means that outside of our rim is 4 mil. Right, we've got the inside, our axle, which is 5 and 8. Okay, now we can finish that sketch. Now we're going to go extrude. Now, when we select these 2 circles, right, they're going to come straight out like that. What we want to do is we want to make sure that we do them symmetric. The reason why we want to do symmetric is that we want that center, that plane that we did before, going through the middle of our piece here. Now we're going to extrude that at 22 mil. Okay, so click OK. So now we've got our rim here. Basically, doesn't have the inside of the rim. Right, we're going to put that in now. If we open up this origin here, you've got X, Y, X, Z, and Y, Z planes here. Now look for the one that goes through the center of this piece here. Alright, so you'll be able to highlight them and you'll be able to see. So if I click on that one, I can see that that goes through the center there. Just right click on that and go new sketch. Okay, so now I'm drawing a sketch on that original plane. Alright, so now you're going to need to add this circle here to help with your design, and this circle here. To do that, you can use this project geometry here. You can click that. When it highlights white, you just click on it, it will turn yellow. That means it's in our sketch. Alright, we're going to need one more circle. On the outside here, we can make that one about 13 mil. Okay, you can make it bigger if you like, but I wouldn't go any less than that because you need to have enough metal to weld onto that axle piece and to drill your hole through the center. Alright, so now we've got this circle, this circle, this circle. So now what we can do is we can do our rim design, so whatever rim design we want. Now, a lot of the times you're just going to be cutting down here. Right, it's up to you what sort of design that you sort of want. You can have 2, 3, 4 spokes. I'll show you how to do them after. Right, make sure that when you do your line tool, right, you bring that point right here. If you have a look at next to this X here, as it snaps to that line, there's a little symbol there, like an arrow. So that means it snapped to that line. So you want to make sure it snaps to that line, okay, wherever you put that in. Alright, and then make sure it snaps at the top so you can see that symbol in between my two dimensions there. Alright, if you don't do that, basically it's still an open drawing, so it means that they will just float and they're not connected, so you won't be able to extrude them. Anything that you extrude has to be connected. Alright, so basically that's just going to be my spoke, and I'm going to go 3D model now. I'm going to extrude. So I'm going to click on this spoke here and this line here. Now I'm going to go back to symmetric, so I want it to go through the middle. I also want to only do that for 3mm. Alright, so now we've got our little pattern happening. We push OK, so we've just clicked that one and that one. So now if we pan that around, so now we've got one spoke. Now the next step is to spin this the whole way around. So if we go circular pattern, right, we can click on this. Make sure it's selected features, just click on that if you need to, but that should be highlighted like that. Click on this feature here, and I'll rotate our axis. Basically, you just have to click on anything that is circular. Alright. Now my computer's going to freeze. No, that should work better. So anything that's circular on the inside. Once you click that, then as you can see straight away, my pattern has rotated around that circular. Alright, now you can change the amount, so you just put 3 there, or 400, it just makes it green. Everyone seems to want to do that, right? But just pick an amount that you want, okay? If you want 5 spokes, 3 spokes, 2 spokes, it's up to you, okay? Just remember you got to cut these out, so the more spokes you have, the harder it's going to be to cut out. Alright? So then just push OK, alright, and you have your little rim design. Alright, we're just going to put a little chamfer on the edge of our wheels, so we're just going to click on that line, and click on this line, alright, and then just make sure this is to 2mm. It may be preset to 2mm, or that might just be what I last used 2mm as, so that's why that says 2mm too. Yours might not say that. Just go apply. Okay, so that gives it that sort of edge like a wheel. Alright, now if you want, it's not essential, but you can give this line here a fillet. Alright, now what that will do is that will give all these edges here a fillet, because basically the reason why we're going to fillet them, oh, I lost them. The reason why you can fillet them is you're going to have welds there. Okay, that's your point of weld, so that's what it's going to look like in the end. Okay, because these are all your points that you're going to have to weld together. So ideally, that's how it's going to really end up. So you can go apply and then close that. Alright, and that's your wheel done. Alright, so make sure you save that. Save that in your file. Alright, so you go save as. Alright, you should have a file here that has your name on it. Alright, make sure you save it in that. Alright, now save that as wheel. Alright, so make sure you give it a name. You always want to give stuff names. Don't save stuff as parts. Alright, you will get confused eventually when you have lots of things. Alright, give them very specific names. Alright, I'm going to save that. Now, the next part you're going to go File, New again. Alright, make sure you're in Banksy Park. You're going to go ISO. So this is technical drawings. Whilst in a technical drawing, I want you to do a couple things. So first part, base. Now, if you still have it open down here, it will just automatically select it, so you shouldn't have to find it. If you don't have it open, you might have to open this existing file up and look for it. Alright. So, well, I don't need to do that because it's open. Now, if your wheel comes up like this, you have to rotate it up here. See that top view. Okay. Now you can move these things around because I get in the way. Move it to the bottom left here. Alright. Doesn't matter where you put it, but for this example, I might put it here. And then you want your scale, to make sure that your scale is 1 to 1. Alright. Now, go project. And what project is you're going to project from here. You're going to put 1 to the right, and then 1 above, and then 1 up in this corner here. Alright, so go right click and then create. Now, you can double click on this one, and you can give that a shaded edge. Alright, it won't change straight away. And I tend to like to look at it from this angle. Okay, it's not. This is the proper way that you would view it in Australia. The other way is in an American. I don't know why they do it that way, but that's the way that they have it set up. But here in Australia, we have it set up like that, so you can change that. Alright, push OK, and of course my drawing is not responding. Alright, now what I want you to do as well is, because these are 1 to 1 scales, we can actually cut them out and put them and then trace them. So just I want you to put 2 more of your designs on here as well. Okay, and then you can cut them out and trace them onto your metal, because that'll be a 1 to 1 scale. Now the next part I want is for you to actually put some dimensions on here. So if you go up here to Annotate, go Dimensions, then you can start clicking on points. If you want to get the dimension of this line here, just click on the end of that line and the other end, and it'll give you the dimension. So now I also change the primary unit to 0, then it just gives you the millimeters. So I know that that's 20 millimeters. Okay, so you're going to cut down 20 millimeters. Then you might want to annotate and get this dimension here. Okay. Alright, just make sure you drag it out until it snaps to the right dimension that you want. As you can see, there was 3 different dimensions there, but this is the one that I want. I want that distance between that line and that line, 17 mil. Alright, and now I want the distance between that one and this one here. Okay. And it's not snapping to the one I want. No, because I pushed cancel, I need to open up these dimensions again. Alright, that's what I want, basically. And then change that primary unit to 0. So I know that 17 millimeters apart, 16 millimeters apart. Okay, so that's how big I want them. Alright, so that's my negative, and that's the part that I'm going to cut out. That's the part that I'm cutting out. Alright, that's basically all I want you to do. You can then get the dimensions for these other ones here. And, of course, the kid's not responding. Alright, so 61 mil. Alright, So that's for the outside, for the inside, right, 53. Right, you know that this one here is 5 mil, and this outside one here is 8 mil. Okay, so now when you go to create that, anyone who looks at that goes, yep, you've got a 61mm round tube bar, right? And then you can also make sure that you put a dimension there so that people know how wide that wheel's going to be. Right. Now, if you are going to create a large wheel at the front and a large wheel at the back, I will show you a very quick and simple way to create the large wheel. Now, if we go into here, we go File, Save As. We're going to go Save Copy As. Right. We're going to save this as Copy as Large. Right. Now, we go Open, and we want to open wheel copy, this one. I don't know where I saved it to. Cancel that. File, save as. Save copy as. That's in. Yeah, that's in. So we're going to File, Open, find where it's saved as, and 10. Just going to do it this way. I'm just going to save this in stage 1. I didn't even robotics. No, File, Open. Alright, now open that one up. Alright, now we're finally here. Alright, now if you change your extrusion in the first part here, so if you open up this extrusion, split this little arrow, and now double click on the sketch here, you can now then change the dimension. So I'm going to change this 61, I'm going to change that to, I think it's 74. Push enter. Now, also, the thickness of this steel is actually 6. So I'm going to change that to 6. Push enter. Right, now, as soon as I click that, the whole thing comes bigger, right? But it's still that same rim, right? So then if we go back to this wheel design, we can go back to base, right? And now we've got this bigger one here. Now, I can tell that it's bigger because it's bigger than that one there, right? So I'm going to just drop that there for now. I'm going to delete this one. I'm just going to now move that over there. Alright. So I only want you to put dimensions on 1, and you can just put 1 here and 1 there. Alright. But you can also see that that one's bigger. You could put dimensions on there if you wanted to. Alright. But that's how you're going to do that. Those very simple, easy steps. Alright.